Hello, and good morning. This is Ray Eason or Ray Ia with the Ancient Tree of Life channel, or the unofficial Anunnaki of the Bible channel. Today is the last day of Scorpio. It's 11/22/2019 at about 7:57 in the morning. Tomorrow is the first day of Sagittarius, and I once read and heard that when we had these transitory phases, like from one to the next, one age to the next, or one astrological sign to the next, there was a feeling, there was a feeling inside of it, and so what I wanted to focus on was the energy of Scorpio ending. This month we've been talking about Scorpio and death and rebirth of the spiritual, the emotional, even the psycho-emotional, and sometimes even the physical, right? Sometimes people that we know pass on, so physical death is there. It's that time of the year when things get a little bit more less. The sun is less. The weather gets colder, bacteria comes up, or people get colds and flus, and sometimes those things just take an effect on their system and then they pass on, right? It happens. So Scorpio is about death, but what does that really mean? I've had people sort of question some of the things that I've said about like hell and heaven, and how you must go through hell in order to get to heaven, and this whole death thing, because in our society, death is a really big a taboo thing. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be understood so that it's not feared as much, and therefore so it's understood on both this level and something you might be able to carry on to the next if your soul program is capable of doing that, and that's something we'll get into later. But Scorpio is about that death, and it's an emotional sign. It's a water sign, so it's about the emotion, and it's about the feelings. It's about intuition, but it's ruled by a fire sign. It's ruled by Mars, which is a creative, fiery, and sometimes destructive energy, and that's why we have these labels and these clamors about Scorpio, and about how some Scorpios are very they're very abrasive, or they're very emotional, but then they're also very intuitive and protective, right? So that's kind of where we get this archetype from. And with Sagittarius, it's something a little bit different, where Sagittarius is not a water sign. It's actually ruled by Jupiter, which Jupiter is an air sign or a wind sign, but Sagittarius itself is a fire sign. So this presents a great mystery into what does Sagittarius actually represent then. If it's a wind sign, an air sign, the planet that rules it, but it's a fire sign itself, what does it mean? That's something we'll get into next, the next zone time frame, which is the next astrological time frame, which will be Sagittarius, which is tomorrow essentially. So, and I also read that Sagittarius, the constellation Sagittarius, is actually, with its bow and its arrow, pointing back at Scorpio, as if to attack, or as if to hold back. That's something I really want to get into, and I'm going to do some work on that. But Scorpio is about death, and then Sagittarius would be about life, or some sort of life, because that's what fire represents, but it's also ruled by a wind sign. So what I want to do is do a video series on each astrological sign and what it means while we're in it, when we're transitioning, and then when we're at the end of one, which is essentially a transition. If you're getting the short version of this video, please feel free to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe for the full videos, right? Because if you're on Twitter and Instagram, you're only getting, and maybe even Facebook, you're probably only getting the 55-second version of this, right? So, once again, thank you for watching, you guys. You guys are great. I really love that everybody's enjoying the content that's being delivered, even though we have some pretty passionate discussions at times. I really think we have to have the passion, which is what a fire sign is, in order to be able to get over it. Because once we can get over it, then we've learned. And that's the most important thing, you guys, is the learning. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.